Come on, who can? We're live here at Sam Michael. We're just talking about what to do today on Website One, and Michael's got these great ideas about data analytics and about tracking people and so on, which I think we definitely want to do. And I'm saying yes, 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 definitely, let's do that. But let's first make sure that we're bringing in all the money that we can by the people who are offering money, which we sorted on Monday with PayPal. The two people who I thought that we would get money from, we did get money from. So
Okay,
I'm vindicated
that's
there.
good.
Maybe I'll be wrong with this one. Sorry, you were going to say something else?
So the terms of the deal with Craft Academy is that it's bundled into the price, quote unquote, but
Yes.
you don't actually get it unless
That
basically
was.
recruit them or retain them.
I mean,
Recruit them.
no. I mean, it's sort of bundled. I mean, the thing I've done with Crop Academy Sweden is an invoice-based thing.
Okay.
I could be doing an invoice-based thing with Crop Academy South Africa.
Oh, Craft Academy South Africa is different.
Yep.
Is that like
Yep.
Raul's thing or
Yes, it is.
little
So he's running a branch of Craft Academy in South Africa.
like a franchise or whatever?
Right. Exactly.
Okay. Because Thomas was saying that he would want me to run a franchise in America,
Yeah. Which
and I was like, well,
you could do if you were interested in doing so.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think
So
Thomas has developed some interesting materials. I mean, I'm sure he'd love me to run a franchise. I guess I'm kind of. I mean, I think if that's like, I did a lot of very intense bootcamp stuff, and I'm kind of like, I want to do slightly less intense stuff. But I think it's definitely, it's maybe a better business model than the Narrative Agile Ventures charity model. But
right.
um,
Well, okay. So
yeah. So I mean, the other thing that I mean, there's kind of like there's nests of things on top of each other because there's a nest of things here related to the payment. There's now that we have PayPal, there's like cleaning that up, and then there's also like for that domain model that we generated, there's now another entity. Like there's it could be coming from PayPal, and lots of other bits and pieces. But I guess the kind of thing that I'm trying to use to focus like what to do next, because there's so many different things that could be done, is uh like get the money in first. So I was thinking, all right, we need to have because we had this one guy upgrade to premium face to face, and I thought, oh, I have to do a button for him. Actually, I can upgrade the individual memberships directly through the Stripe channel. So if somebody just asks for it, who's an existing one, asks for an upgrade, I can do it, which is pleasing to find out. But
right.
I mean, I was going to suggest, did you want to drive on creating this? This would be a specific feature. I think I've got a ticket for it. Did you want to switch computer to do that? Did you want to? Should I start? Like, I'm not going to be interviewed after I mean, potentially after the scrum, we could carry on pairing and we could pong then. Or
Okay.
let me find
We
the.
can continue right now if you want. If you want to start driving.
Sure. Okay. Yes, the sponsor's just doing it. 645. Okay. Oh, let's focus on this for a moment. Okay, that's okay. What am I doing? Okay, yeah, I just managed to do a successful redeploy with Postgre, so that worked. La 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 la. I mean, I guess in here, I'll just tell that's our response. I'll just say, oh, fewer pixels. I'll make one later today. Okay. So right, we're actually please check is done there. We've got this is sponsor allow sponsoring of multiple premium plans, support sponsoring of other users. This was the one that I was, and I'm particularly interested in this because I am talking to other people about. I've had conversations with a couple of other people about not necessarily wanting premium membership themselves, but being willing to sponsor other users within that, other members of Agile Ventures, to say, oh, you can have premium membership and get monthly updates on their progress and so on. So I think this is 1344. So we've got another one of
So Like, what would be the minimum for this?
Well, I think that the interesting thing about this is that when we were going through the process of adding the upgrade to premium button, we had a point in the code where let's check out this branch, where we were showing the upgrade premium button for everybody, even on their other pages. So it's like, I think the absolute minimum for this is just to change it so that we allow that button to be displayed on everybody's page, but then we adjust it to say, instead of upgrade to premium, it says like sponsor for premium, and then when that's clicked, it upgrades the person whose page you've clicked rather than the current user, if that makes sense.
Right.
Upgrade other users. Oh, look, this is
Now, when it comes time for sponsorship to end, how do we deal with that?
well, we can switch it off individually. I mean, I would say that the simplest thing here to do is allow, but if you sponsor somebody, you just sponsor them. And if, like, similarly for premium, like at the moment, if anybody wants to end premium thing, they just, it says in all of the things, email info@agileventures.org, and we'll do it. And I can switch it off in the interface. Now, obviously, ultimately, we want to allow that to be, something that people can just do by clicking a button. Similarly with this, or maybe even like set a certain number of months that they do it for. So sponsor the users for premium. But go on.
Now, there's some interesting things around that, because, like, I notice, like, a lot of the web companies, when you go to cancel things, they really don't want you to. And they're like, oh, like, why don't you, like, Audible, for instance, right now, my subscription is on a 3-month furlough, which basically means I get a lot of the benefits of the subscription, except, like, basically these, like, tokens or whatever, which are equivalent to getting any book I want, which are, like, basically what you mainly buy when you have a subscription. But, like, I get the benefits of, like, I can participate in any sales of books for members. I get the member price. I get, like, like, a lot of the continuing benefits, like the streaming curated content and all that stuff. Like, I still get that for 3 months. And then at the end of the 3 months, like, it's set that it'll automatically resubscribe me. And then also, they were like, why don't you take a free book or whatever? Like, just to keep me, you know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. Right.
So, and I've noticed that with a lot of different sites, like Hulu. They're like, oh, why don't you just take a free month of service?
Oh, yeah.
Like, when you actually click the button to unsubscribe. Because they want, like, I guess they want some friction there, actually.
Oh, absolutely.
They want to tempt you with, like,
Well, and I remember, I mean, I signed up for this, like, getting free magazine when I was living in Hawaii, free magazines for like 3 months. And then they had this, like, incredible system. Like, the process of canceling it was just so convoluted. It was ridiculous. I mean, I think, we will probably do ourselves a favor in the long run by making it easy for people to, unsubscribe. I mean, I think when we get to the scale where we're not able to handle it manually, we just put a button in there, and then it's yeah, I mean, it's a whole nother world.
Then it becomes a thing to track.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
how many people are burning out or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing generally to be the thing that's guiding me is like it's all about, like, how much time is it taking up of me to deal with it manually, and once it gets past a certain threshold.
Yeah, I understand that.
Okay, so here I'm just making a support other member feature here. So allow users to sponsor other members as a user, so that I can.
I mean, it's just interesting because, like, with all the web services that people normally, like, use, even if they're, like, new, right? Like, even if you're, like, a startup, like, they're not quite this lean.
No, but I mean they all have like people working full time to build.
Right. They're
Like,
not like this lean.
no.
Although you are working full time, so and I'm
Well, I'm personally working full time, but like those ones, I sort of assume that they at least have like 4 full time programmers who are working on it, and then they've got separately from the CTO and so on. But anyway, I mean some startups are very 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 small, but I always like to try and take things to the extreme. So we've got this thing. I mean, this one is sort of, I guess the key one here is we've got the user exists. We need at least 2 users here.
I mean, I think the rule of thumb right now is that like if it takes more than 2 hours, then it's too big.
Well,
that seems to be the rule of thumb that we're following. Like if it's more than like a 2-hour session that we would just do and sit down and do between meals or between scrums or between other meetings or whatever, then it's like too much at once.
Well, I think that there's an aspect of I'm generally worried about having long running PRs, and I'm sort of leaning towards like doing all of these things little by little, and then bringing them together and using refactoring tickets to pull together the bigger picture. But so I've got these are kind of irrelevant. That's like whether they see this, that, or the other. I don't really care. I mean, the key thing here is that we've got. So given I'm logged in, is that going to automatically log in? Oh, it's going to create a user. Fine, it's using Factory Girl. So this is.
There should be a step probably to log in manually.
Yeah, I think we actually don't. We don't need this second user here. So this is.
I mean, we could maybe take a step. Interesting. So how does he sign? How do we sign people in right now?
How does this one work?
Yeah.
It's doing like create user.
And what does sign in do?
And then it's got sign in here.
What does sign in do?
Sign in here. It like actually go. It's like visit new user session path, and it sticks in.
How's it get visitor? Where is that set at?
I think that was create user.
It's like, oh, okay.
But actually not. It says user current user. I don't know where it's getting visitor from. So it's got sign up, sign in there. Where does visitor come from?
Visitor some hash. Oh right, create visitor.
So I'm not sure that create visitor is. It doesn't seem that's necessarily being called. Like visitor is set there.
We'll go back. Sign in visits.
Sign in is visit new user session path, and then within main it fills that in. But there's no, I mean, nothing in here, at least as I understand it, would cause create visitor to be called. I mean, we can look for usages of this. We've got user steps. When I sign in valid credentials, when I sign up with valid user data, when I sign up without a password confirmation.
I mean, you could do when I sign up with valid credentials.
Right.
I think it just was one of the. It looks like it'll. Can you go in?
Go into which one?
Go back to the one that said valid credentials.
All right, so we've got one here.
So we're going to create a. No.
I'm just going through the meeting term. I mean, we've got there's a series of them here.
There we go. So we create a visitor, which will have that hash values, and then we sign them in. Right. So, but how do we?
Well, I started by copying this. This is like the working scenario that we.
Right, I understand. So
with that there. So, but yeah, at the moment, like I am, as far as I can see here, it would look like visitor was null at that point. So here it goes like I am logged in. It does create user, which creates a user and sets the current user to that.
Right.
And then it does sign in.
Right.
And assuming that that's the right sign in, it does this. Like from what I can see there, at this point, visitor would be nil.
But obviously it's not, because...
Well, presumably it's not, yeah.
So why don't you try, given I logged in with valid credentials or whatever it is, just get rid of everything. I'll accept that background stuff and see what it does.
I think I'd probably prefer not to. Like here, I would, given that I know that this other thing sort of approximately works. What I'm keen to do here is like rather than diving into how the steps work right now, is I want to like here is like you know, say that I want to be on like Alice's page. Like I want to define the high level scenario before I start diving into how these things work, because otherwise we get potentially lost in the weeds. So it's going to be click, you know, this is like sponsor for premium. I don't know if that's the right thing there. So instead of on my profile page, we want to be on the other person's page. So this is upgrade membership. There we go. And so it's like I visit Alice's profile page. So if we have here, and I visit Alice's profile page, and then given I visit Alice's profile page, then I should see premium member, and I should not see sponsor for premium. Like so. So screen there, that's good. Cucumber. This is going to be features, premium, sponsor, other member feature.
Right.
So that's thinking about it. The sponsors are just asking me for Ruby minus T. Right, and it can't find that sponsor thing there. So that's...
Susanna's talking about how MVPs are frustrating for customers when they become permanent products.
Yeah, I would expect them to be.
But I think that's the norm now.
Well, it's an interesting thing. I mean, the difference between the minimum viable prototype and the minimum viable product. You know, so goodness me, she wholeheartedly hates the MVP concept. Interesting.
It's a bit of a straw man, I guess, what I just said.
That's interesting. I don't know. It's interesting that she just doesn't like the MVP.
Do staging servers really resolve?
I don't think so.
The issue of, isn't that just like focus testing or whatever? Like, what does that mean? You have like a group of beta testers?
Not sure. I guess
anyway,
what I'm also going to do is going to turn Slack off, because I shouldn't get the focus on that. So yeah, this is failing in the way that I would expect. And so, independently of what's going on under the hood there, the thing that would actually make this something that could work is so on the users.
I think that's not to interrupt you, but I think that's MetPlus's problem is they've yet to even deliver anything, and they've been walking away for 15 months.
Yeah, I mean, they have been. They when and I've spoken to them about this. I mean, they have they do show the client the functionality and the features and the things, and he uses it and plays with it, but he's not using it in his live business, and he's saying
using it for real.
He's not using it for real, and he's the only person who's interacting with it. And I think
so he doesn't know what people.
All of this stuff before it can work. I mean, I think it's very dangerous, and but then at the same time, he knows his business. I mean, it's an interesting question there whether I should be trying to step in more. I mean, I have been talking to them about it and saying, look, you need to get feedback from I don't know, at the same time, I sort of see Agile Ventures as the projects need to do things their way and encounter the problems. I don't know. I've got in trouble before trying to impose my way of doing things on other projects. So, yeah. So we've kind of got here. This thing is we're currently checking if the presenter is the same as the current user, and then we render the upgrade page based on that. Will it actually allow me to jump to that particular? But so what we kind of want to do is basically say, we actually don't need this check anymore, because in principle anybody can be upgraded, and they could be any page you look at, whether it's yours or not, you can be upgraded. So we remove that, and then actually what we will want is that what we kind of want to do is that check. So within these. Now, where are these? It's users profile premium upgrade, users profile pre-write. So we've got premium upgrade here. What we want to do is be able to adjust this, this data label based upon whether it's you or somebody else. So here, so it's kind of the. It's basically, we kind of need there, we would have to send, we got to send a local variable into here, we can do presenter like that, and it becomes, do we have to pass a local tash? Let's assume that would work.
Right.
And then, so this, we take this off of here. And we stick that in there, and we can ask the question. I mean, this is awful logic in the views. We can say here that the data label is equal to upgrade to premium, and otherwise the data label, oops, what happened there? What? The data label should be, and what are we calling it? The failing error message. It's to be sponsor for premium, if that's the right word there. And then, so data label could just be referred to here via, you don't have to make it an instance variable. Data label like that, like so. Okay. Now, why am I getting a complaint there? What are you complaining about? Something's not closed from somewhere. Element script is not closed. Ah, it's kind of created a. I guess that will need a string around it.
I told her that Agile emphasizes collaboration with customer and openness to accommodating changes.
Excellent. Have you linked it to the Agile Manifesto?
Yes, and I said it's possible to do Agile poorly.
Okay. Is it now? It's interesting because I think Susanna is a Craft Academy graduate. So I'm interesting what her set of experiences are that make her dislike the MVP. I mean, I would imagine that it's maybe. I mean, yeah. I think we would all probably agree that like if you just end up only delivering the MVP to the customer and like they're expecting like loads and loads of other stuff, then yeah, you'd be like in total pain. But
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So well, this is interesting. So the cucumber with that change, the cucumber test has passed. Now I guess though I think probably well, it's interesting. I'm almost surprised that it does pass because I'm surprised that it has necessarily upgraded the correct user, because I would have thought that in the charges controller when we do upgrade,
we upgrade the current user, right?
No. So upgrade actually the upgrade only works for the well, what's it here? This is funny because upgrade here is saying upgrade to Premium Plus. But actually, okay, the upgrade upgrades the current user. I think it might not work for Premium Plus, but for at least sponsoring someone to be Premium.
Oh yeah, because you've go back to update user to Premium.
Yeah, because we do it with the customer. It doesn't like it
won't know. It shouldn't know.
Update user to Premium. But no here.
Here you're hard coding current user.
It should be like the person that it upgrades should be the current user. So I'm kind of surprised that it's going.
Can I go back and see the tests?
The test is here.
If I'm logged in and I visit LS's profile page.
Yeah.
And then I should see and I fill in appropriate guard detail. What does that do then?
This one, well, so it clicks the sponsor. I mean, let's. Why don't we step through this in the local Rails server, which I think is. Oh, go on, come here. Sa. That's only around 3,000. Okay. So we need. I mean, I guess it's also the case that we don't. I wonder if it's the fact that it actually signing in doesn't work. So if we have a look at members, so then we look at, for example, locally we've got John. Oh, that we need somebody who's not a premium, but anyway, there. So he's. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I think maybe did we upgrade him previously? That's weird. Let's take someone like that. That's interesting. They're all saying premium F2F member. I wonder if that's true on the main site as well. Oh dear. No, it's not. I guess I've just changed it so like it's automatically displaying everybody, and maybe that thing can't handle it. I'm surprised that it's. I mean, I guess the other thing to do here is to log out and look at an individual user page. Right. Okay. The test is not necessarily doing anything like what we. Okay, so here. Okay, so partly this is the problem that there's a check. Okay. Yeah, so that's completely screwed. So here, rather than current user, we should be displaying, that should be like presenter.user. In terms of the membership type. Right. I think all the way through it was presenting mine. So if we reload that, there we go. So that's, I don't know why the test was running, but then so this, we should be stepping through.
That's weird that it wasn't failing.
Yeah, there's something odd under here. I guess it was logged in.
Would you say that she's saying that she's afraid to deliver an MVP that is further from done than I would like it to be? And I said, well, MVP isn't the end point, it's just the beginning.
Sounds like excellent advice. But so we've got that. I think the reason that this was working and with the weirdness that we saw here was because I was logged in and I'd like previously, in terms of checking, being able to upgrade and set things, I'd like put myself up to premium F2F. And so the logged in user thing was overriding it. Whereas in this case, the logged in user isn't a premium member. And so it was still, sporting the sponsor for premium. But so, we're supposed to visit, some other user's page, not the logged in person. We would see it here. We can get the sponsor for premium method. When this does, and I fill in appropriate card details for premium, it will, drop in, some random stuff like so. And then we would have, what is it? 2017 or is it definitely 2017? It's 12. 1, 2, 3. We do that. And it's going to think about it, and it's going to come here. And it's that. So, of course, this needs to change as well. So that will have to say, and then I should see, you have sponsored Alice as a premium member. But the interesting thing we can also just sort of check out here. See, they're there. I'm not logged in. I guess if you do it when you're not logged in, then according to the charges controller, it basically won't leave any trace in our system. Right. And it'll only leave it, it'll contact Stripe, the API endpoint, and it'll do a, update there. But the way we have this set up is if you're not logged in, it will just not, we won't have a record of it on our system. But so if we go back to here and we reload this page, yeah, he's like, our local system doesn't know anything about it. So it's the test here where it says like, having gone back to the page and should see premium member, I guess that's probably because it worked for the logged in user and it went back. Yeah. So I think the whole, I think even without this line there, I think the test should now fail in the right way. Oh, because I think it was I still had it going to current user. So here, and I think there it should fail. Yeah. And okay. And so we've got two things. I think that there's two things that need to happen. Is one, we need an endpoint that like says, congratulations, you've sponsored this user. And then there's a second one which actually ensures that the sponsorship and the premium member status is sort of recorded on our side of the system. So we don't have more than one person sponsoring the same person over and over again.
Right. So we're getting the right failure at this point.
Yeah, we got the right failure, and I'm introducing this other one. I mean, I think we now have a test that, in principle, I should not see. I should see basic member. Did we have another? Premium. upgrade membership. Yeah, I mean, it should also, I mean, well, it shouldn't say other things. This, yeah, it should not see both those. That's fine. Okay, yeah, and so that's now, so you sponsored Alice as a premium member. So we're kind of, this is at the least a high level description of what someone should be able to do. I guess the other interesting question to ask is, how many of the other premium things have we broken with that functionality, if any? So, I mean, there's this big thing about, as we don't, I think this charges controller really, it should be, it's this subscriptions controller. I mean, it's really abused at the moment. And my kind of promise to myself is like, as soon as this one thing that will allow this other revenue stream to do is like, okay, before we add more functionality there, it needs to be some refactoring going on. Maybe that's happening. But so we've got the process whereby that's a failure there. The create thing here is currently checking on the plan variation, and so we've got sort of a thing here now where, I mean, this is just we want a version of this, like that if you weren't sponsoring yourself, if you did it on some other page, then we kind of want we want a different version of this. I guess the difficulty is now, if somebody is not logged in and they click on this for this person, we don't know if they think they are trying to sponsor themselves, you know, or buy it themselves, or sponsor someone else.
Yeah.
But I guess if they're not logged in, they'll be seeing like sponsor this person. I think, you know, in that situation we could sort of figure it out. But so what we need to happen is here, rather than we've got render create, there's, I mean, this is like getting really nasty, messily logic, but as we're thinking about it at the high level, is if we've kind of got this question that we ask, this same question that we've got, where have we put it now? Over here. You know, is the user the same as the current user? I guess in this context, we have like the current user. There's this create option. At this point, the only record of kind of the user that comes in is we know who the current user is. I guess what we don't have from this button, you know, if it's going to be sponsor for premium, we don't actually know which user it refers to, do we? Like conceivably we can get the data label out, but if we, like at this point, if we bug it, so okay, we managed to up, that fails as expected. Okay, yeah. So the one failure that we're getting on the other things, basically we would now, as part of this, be displaying membership status on all pages. So that failure is expected there. That's on upgrade membership.
Right, you're seeing basic member.
Yeah, which we would now expect to do in this situation. So that's on line 19, and there we go. And it should be, I should see there.
Right.
But okay, that's encouraging that we haven't broken all the other things, but yeah, I mean, the question is it going to be too painful and difficult to implement this MVP here, given, you know, we end up making such a convoluted mess that future refactorings are too painful to bear. So we're in here at this point in the params. So this is the point that it's kind of, we've been redirected, right, from the little credit card payment thing.
Right.
And so we actually don't have any information
about.
the other user that we might be trying to apply
So
premium membership to. Go on.
right, because this is Stripe's
Yeah.
callback to us.
Yes. So we need to like.
Is there a way to let Stripe tell us something?
I would hope so. Let's see. There we go.
I mean, the other option is we stuff it in a cookie.
Right. And
right.
I guess
we have a session that.
Yeah.
When they click that button.
Yeah.
It, go on. So when they click that button, right? It's invoking Stripe's JavaScript, right?
Yeah. What we are getting here, though, look, we're getting the plan. Like we're getting a charges path, and then we're getting a plan. So in principle, we could have, like, this would be user.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right.
And then we would have presenter.user there, right?
Yeah.
And if
so we can pass.
Yeah, we can effectively. I mean, this now that might be the wrong thing because it's charges path. It may need to be added as a kind of like the charges path itself. Does it expect that, or should it just add it as the thingy? So here now, params. Yeah, so now we have user and Alex Jones, which is presumably the slug for the user.
Is that enough to look them up if you do user.find Alex Jones?
I think so. We can do user.find by slug, and the slugs are unique. So, and then do Alex Jones here, and that get that for that person. So, so in principle, that would then come into the charges controller, and so we would then also have like at user equals
user find by.
Yeah, I'll look it up when I user. I guess user find. I mean, we've got on some other page, like this is only going to be present on certain pages, like so, like the user. So we kind of here we want to. I guess we want to try this. No, I was sort of. I'm not supposed to use try anymore. We're supposed to return null user objects, but anyway. So then we have.
I mean, the user is just going to get nil, right? I mean, that doesn't make sense, right? Because user is always going to have find by slug method. It's just going to return nil if.
Oh, right. Sorry, yeah.
That's like a Rails API. It's always going to be there.
Yeah, that's always going to be there. I guess there's a. Okay, no, I guess if it right,
it's a question of whether it's nil or
will return nil.
Right.
Okay. Sorry, I'm getting confused. So then, like we've got upgrade user to premium.
I mean, you could do or current user basically.
Well, I could, although kind of if there's so we've got the Stripe customer, and this is like user for upgrade or update for. Update there, and then we've got. I mean, although so in here, we can sort of say like, yeah, I guess at this point, we could say like here, the user for update, and do or equals current user. And then we do return unless we've actually got a user, because they could both be nil. And then we update that one. Like so. And actually, the important thing here is that So this will work as long as as long as at least one of these, this will override the current user, but if this is nil, then it'll turn into current user. And then the important thing here is that we've got, in principle, I think both user and current user on the create page here. And so we could then ask in here, this is if we've basically got a situation with if current user nil or current user not equal to at user. So this is the thing. I know that's I don't know if they're the same. But basically, if you weren't logged in,
Right.
and I don't know, is that right? If the current user is nil, okay, this is going to be what we displayed by default. If there is a current user and it's equal to the page that you clicked on, in which case you're clicking the upgrade to membership on your page.
Right, but what if you're not? So is there a case where you're not logged in and there's not an at user? No, right? It shouldn't be a normal flow.
Right, but you won't get there because if you're not logged in, right, this here will be true, and we'll never evaluate that next step.
Right.
If you're not logged in, you'll just see that.
Is there a case where you're logged in and you're the user being upgraded? I guess that's...
Yeah, there is. Like if you're logged in and you clicked the, upgrade to Meter Premium, then you can see this one. Whereas if this is the case, it's like thanks, and so I'll go and get the text from.
So this is the support, though. You don't have to. That first part, current user.nil, is to support. You don't have to be logged in.
Right. Yeah.
We'll take your money right away.
Yeah, because we're deeply. I forgot what the word is. Mercenary. Deeply needy. Yeah, very needy. Why can I now not find the page I was just editing? It is the create form. There we go. So this is thanks. What do we say there? You have sponsored, and then we would grab. So it implies that there is a user there. You have sponsored, and then we would go. At user.name as a premium member. There we go. And then like so. So it's awfully, awfully, awfully undry. We haven't got a buy bug in there. We could just run that and see if that worked. Bing, bong, 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 bing. That is indented too much. So that should. Okay. So undefined method name for user. So it should be, I guess, first name.
Isn't there like a pretty format name?
Oops.
There's there's some kind of thing on the user that display name or something like that.
Yeah, maybe that's what we want.
I think there is something like that.
Yeah, I was using Railroady, and I noticed that somewhere in the teaming code base, there is a we've got like a null user object in here somewhere already. Yeah, display name, user.display name, display name and user. Yeah, full name, email address, anonymous. Yeah. To find you. Oh, okay, there we go. And then I think it is there working. And thanks. It's a lowercase y. All brain on there. I think you're probably right. That should be display name, in case I don't have a first name. But so we've also got this now running here. So if we, and that's the real site. We go here, we stop, we reload. So we've got there. It's thinking about the background. So do it with this one. It's annoying to have to type in. The thing is, and if I do select that first one, it will like start sending me things on my phone and just be really irritating. Don't ever click the remember me here if you can avoid it. And then 12, 17, and then 1, 2, 3, and then like that. So now in principle, this will say, well, I said the wrong thing. Well, I'm not logged in. But even so, I guess, yeah, it's not, it's going to have failed, isn't it? But no, it's here. So here it says you have, then, okay, it's saying Alice Jones. Okay, so that's interesting.
So that was the case where you were logged in, right? You were not logged in, but we're testing a case where you're logged in, right?
We're testing is where we are logged in. And I guess if we're not logged in,
and we click on sponsor this user, then
yeah, I guess I forget what would I actually click on here. So here, yeah, if you're not logged in, okay, and he's now, anyway, at least it turned him into a premium member, but it went to the page that I guess we'll have to look at the not logged in one as well. That's now green here, but yeah, it exposes the other case of, you know, of like this. We would sort of expect
visitor upgrades
to like non-logged in user upgrade another user from free tier to premium. Like so.
Now we're thinking that's going to fail, right?
I would imagine based on what
someone's doing.
Yeah, I'm just going to step away briefly.
Okay.
We'll go to the scrum in a few minutes. Right, so that fails there. Yeah, it says thanks, you're now. But so if you're not logged in, right, I guess we've got here is, I guess what we want is basically if the current user is nil, basically it should sort of start there with if not, or if not at. Not quite right. Basically, if there actually is a user here,
if the user is present,
if
I
the
think
user,
is what you want.
So but so
Rails has a present method.
Yeah, but it's kind of, I want it to be doing the present thing here. Like the fact that the user is in some ways what it should be is basically, I guess if we switch the order on these and we take sort them the other way around. So basically what we want to say, yeah, so if we say if the user is present and the current current user is not equal to user, then it goes this way. Otherwise, it goes that way. And then maybe both of them will pass. because I mean, current user may be nil, but if it is, then it will not be equal to user in this case because we're only going to be evaluating that in the context in which there is a user.
Seems poorly factored.
What seems poorly factored?
It seems poorly factored to have so much business logic in the.
Oh God, it's absolutely awful. It's absolutely awful. But it all passes, or at least those ones do.
Right, but like tomorrow we won't remember what it means.
Yeah.
Actually, by this afternoon I won't remember what it means.
No. Well, so I mean, if we're lucky enough that this goes green here after the scrum, we could spend an hour refactoring and actually making it right.
Mm-hmm. But we probably don't actually do that.
You don't want to do that?
No, I said we probably don't actually do that, right? I mean, we just
push it out immediately and not do that. Well, for me, and unless that's what I'd like to spend the time after the scrum working on.
Okay.
But let's see. Let's see. I mean,
I thought we enjoyed pouring kerosene on the fire.
Well, we do sometimes. You know, every day. I mean, you do that 150 days in a row. Anyway, yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, I think that it looks like all of the premium things are going green. I'm going to stop this broadcast and start the scrum. I'll maybe see you there.
I'll be there in a few minutes. I'm going to do some things and change to my Mac then.
Sure.
All right, bye.
Okay, bye.